you everyone for coming.
Are you recording?
I am. Yeah, I'm recording. Yeah, we're on record. Okay, so we kind of have a little list of things to go through today. Not one main agenda, just a lot of little tidbits that have come up over the past couple weeks that I want to cover. First, I want to talk about the transaction coordinator service that Desiree does. Obviously, this is totally an optional service, but I'm going to be sending it out to everybody with this office meeting today because we have put in here everything that Desiree does if she's representing you as your transaction coordinator. And if I send it to you and you're just doing it yourself, you should utilize this list when you're doing a transaction, because she really goes above and beyond. It goes even all the way to the end of the transaction, where she sends out an email saying, "Hey, thank you for your business. Will you please write a review here, and here for me?" And so this is a good reminder as to what you should be doing, even if you're not using a transaction coordinator. And then the other reason I wanted to bring this up is we wanted to offer a little promotion. If you use a transaction coordinator, we're going to do like a buy one get one. So right now, if you only have one transaction going, it probably doesn't make sense. But if you get to the point this spring, summer, where you've got multiple transactions going, and you can do more on getting other transactions going, if you're not worrying about this little stuff that Desiree would be working on, it can be a good service for you for $300. And if we're giving you buy one get one free, it's $150. So anyways, I'm going to send this out to you guys at the end of the meeting. Let me know if you have any questions about it, and even if you're not using Desiree, use this list and make sure you're doing this when you have a transaction or a listing or whatever, because it's just a good reminder. Next, I want to talk about Form 40s. Yes.
I've got the list. It's lovely. Is there a counterpart to that lists the things that the agent should be doing that Desiree is not doing?
Yeah, we do have that.
Excellent. Can you send that out too?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a list of
in other words, an agent checklist, a buyer's agent checklist or a seller's agent checklist that pairs with the transaction coordinator.
Or that just tells us what to do.
Yeah,
or just tells us what to do.
Step by step. Okay, fair enough.
Cool.
This is kind of housekeeping, but this week we had a lot of Form 40s, which is good news. That means people are closing transactions. And there were just a lot of questions. So I just kind of want to go over the process of a Form 40, when you should do it, just kind of start to finish. So Form 40 is a commission disbursement. When you get a transaction pending, I normally wouldn't send the Form 40. Sometimes escrow will ask for the Form 40 immediately. If it's me, I'd say, okay, I'll send it to you. And I wouldn't send it till after the inspection response, because oftentimes in the inspection response, you're going to renegotiate the price, right? So if the commission is 3% on 400,000 or on 300,000, then it's $9,000. But what if something comes up in the inspection and the price drops to $295? Now you have to send a new Form 40. Just for the sake of not doing your work twice, even if escrow asks for it right away, just say, okay, I'll get it to you and get it to them in a week when the inspection response is done. So that's just a little quick tip. But I just wanted to kind of go through the process of how you do it. If you've already seen this before, then this is redundant, but just want to talk about this really quick. Little tangent. We have two brokerage emails. We have the admin at rogtk.com and we have docs at rogtk.com. And this will come into play in just a second. I'll explain why this came up this week. Admin is where it's an email that's constantly being watched by Andrew, who handles our back-end admin. And that's for any correspondence. If you need to get a hold of Craig right away, and it's something private for just Craig, the only people who check it are Craig, Andrew, and myself. That's the best way to get a hold of Craig. If you need Craig to sign something, like in the Form 40, it should go to admin. It's really like, if you want to think of the best way to get a hold of our back end, that's admin. Docs is our firm's document email. So every firm, if you look up a firm, they have a document email. I know I've talked about this before, so I won't belabor it. But Docs is where you are required by state law to send all transactional documents, right? So if you send an offer, if you get mutual acceptance, if you send an inspection response, a 22Y, doesn't matter what it is, you should always send it to your firm and the other firm. Listing documents, obviously there's no other firm yet So you just send it to your firm, and that is docs@rogtk.com. So when you're in a transaction, go over here, and all of our transaction templates should already put it here, but we got Realty1. But if it's not, for some reason, I can't imagine why it wouldn't be, add it here, Realty1 Group Turnkey, and docs@rogtk.com. And if in doubt, I always say, just CC or BCC docs@rogtk.com. Nobody has to know that you sent it. It's going to be a BCC, but that way it's just trackable, traceable, and that is also being watched too. We have Desiree is always monitoring that, just making sure things are coming in. And so there's been a little confusion on, well, do I send it to admin or docs? Things always have to go to docs. If you want to get a hold of Craig or our admin department, it goes to admin. Sorry for belaboring that. I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, so back to the Form 40. I clicked on Forms. If the Form 40 is not already uploaded, just click right up here. Everybody probably knows this. Oops. Because I'm on the big screen, it makes me swerve back and forth. Okay, so when you add the Form 40, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to look blank. Some of the information is already going to be filled in based off of what your transaction desk already has, right? So it knows who our sellers are, so it already put the sellers in. This is just a random transaction. This is actually an active listing of Craig's, so we don't even have buyers yet. That's why it didn't automatically fill in. So let's just go through it step by step. I'll be quick because most of it's pretty obvious. Buyer's name, seller's name, listing number, today's date. That is not the date of the purchase and sale agreement. That is the actual date of the Form 40. And the reason is, let's say you did turn in a Form 40 the day after mutual acceptance, and then you turn in another Form 40 after an inspection response. That's why that's important to have the today's date. Make sure you're filling that in with the exact date that you put this in. Closing agent, that's escrow, right? So Carol Robson, let's say, WFG. And then this is a closing agent's address. It's technically not necessary, but if you want to fill it out, just the escrow office address. Okay, so there's two portions of this Form 40. There's the top portion and the bottom portion. Listing firm must fill out that portion, and this is the selling office, okay? So if you're representing the buyer, you just fill out the top. If you're representing the seller, you just fill out the bottom. So let's pretend we're representing the buyer. How you would do this is you would type in the amount, right? So let's say you're pending at $300,000 and the commission is 3%, and we all know we find the commission on the listing. If we're representing the buyer, we don't see their 1A, right? Their listing agreement, we just see it on the actual listing on the MLS. So we just type in $9,000. Oops. Yep, there we go. $9,000, and then here you'd write Realty 1 Group Turnkey. You would not write out your individual agent name because, as everyone probably knows, the check comes into the brokerage and then we disperse it to you, right? And you do not need our address, city, state, zip. It's all, it's always best practice to put it in, but you don't need that. And then let's say you are doing something for the buyer, like a home warranty. Total tangent. I always think a home warranty, it's like $280 with Fidelity. It's a great idea to add that for your buyers, because if something happens a month or two after you help someone buy a home, it's so nice to be like, I mean, I've gotten those calls before where it's like, yeah, my water heater just stopped working. And that, oh my gosh, even though it's not at all your fault, there's nothing you did wrong, it is just puts a pit in your stomach when you're like, oh, sorry, there's $1,200. When you have a home warranty, it costs you $280 out of your commission, and now they get a brand new hot water heater put in. So that was just a little tangent. But let's say that happens, $280. So what you would do is you would write 280 here. You'd write Fidelity Home Warranty. And then you do 9,000 minus 280. 8720. And that's how you do it. If you're doing something like a Fidelity Home Warranty, you would then also have to send them the receipt for the home warranty. I'm actually gonna write a note. That'd be a good thing to show people how to order home warranties. It's really simple. There's a little portal. You can use, I mean, there's all kinds of home warranty companies. We found Fidelity is really good. We've had good feedback from our buyers, and it's the cheapest, $280.
They're not all created equal, that's for sure.
They're not. You're absolutely right. There's some that are really amazing. They're like $550, but that's obviously a lot more money. So, anyways, that's up to you. I can maybe I'll put out some feelers, see if people are interested in that. I can show people how to set up how to order a home warranty. It's pretty simple, but maybe we'll talk about that in a future meeting.
They still have reps, or now is it all?
Yeah, they have specific rep. Well, we've been ordering through Fidelity. I haven't done it with somebody else in a while, but yeah, with Fidelity, First American was that way too. There was like someone specific in their home warranty department that you could call.
It used to be like the title escrow reps, where there was somebody you'd see once a week, and it used to be more business.
Yeah, it is. It's different from that. Like Andrew Hugson, he does Fidelity's. He's their like main sales rep, right? He's always going around whining and dining people, right? But if you call him and ask for a home warranty, he says no problem. I'm gonna have the home warranty guy call you. Right. So that's the only difference. He doesn't like actually set it up anymore. So anyways, I just want to be clear about that. I mean, if there's anything else that you wanted to add here, trying to think of an example.
I got one. Let's say that I tell let's say that this buyer is my client, and we've already tried one house, and they paid for the inspection there, and so now we're at the second house because the first one fell through, and I volunteer to pay for the inspection.
That's a tough one because if it's because I would be surprised if an inspector would allow you to pay out of closing.
Larry Kowalski did it for me once already. He took payment at closing, but I made sure that it was set up this way so he could have checked just like me.
Well, that would be then if the inspector is okay with that. So what I'm saying is, if I'm an inspector, I'm not going to say that because oftentimes it falls through after the inspection. I mean, at least 20% of the time, probably more like 30% of the time. But that's great. If an inspector is like, yeah, absolutely, you can pay me out of closing. I think Larry is $420. That's what he charges. And I mean, you would just do the same thing, AISI inspections, and then you would subtract 420 from this, which would be 8,300? No, 8,300. And that's how it would look, right? Another one, sometimes you would see that TJ actually just did this. He credited his seller $1,000. It was a friend of his, and he just credited them $1,000 to their closing. Just reduce his commission by $1,000. In that case, you would just want an addenda. That wouldn't even have to be here because all you'd have to do, that was on the seller's case, so we'll get down to that in just a second, but all you'd have to do is just change the commission as so, right? Because escrow's not going to ask for your 1A, your listing agreement that shows exactly what your percentage. They're going to ask for this, right? Okay. So anyways, that covers that. The listing firm, there's just a little more. The listing firm is confirming what the buyer firm is saying in regards to what they make. So you have to say, what is the total commission? So again, if we're using $300,000 and it's 3%, total commission is $1,800. Of which the listing firm's share is $9,000, right? And then it's redundant, right? And again, this is where you put it here. Now, let's say, using TJ's example, let's say they agreed to 6% total, and it was $300,000 equals $18,000, right? But he said, "Hey, I'm going to give you guys $1,000 discount." Then he would just change everything. He doesn't have to show them a 1A, so he would just adjust it accordingly, right? So that math still equals up that they're going to make $9,000 up there, but he's making $8,000, right? So it's pretty simple. And then the last portion is you want this is not something that you sign. This is something that Craig signs, and the reason is when we get a Form 40, we just double check your files. We're not there to be to be snooping, whatever. We're just there to be double checking, making sure you're we're just a second set of eyes, right? We're making sure that everything's there. If you're missing a signature somewhere, we want to help you correct that now, so that if it's the day before closing or day of closing, escrow's not saying, "Oh, we have to hold things up because we just found out that you're missing a signature here," right? That's why we're looking into it. We're also double checking your math, right? We don't want you to short yourself, right? So anyways, you'll go Craig Tuttle, and then click sign, and everybody knows this part, and I'm probably not even going to go any further. At this point, you'll just go into AuthentiSign. You'll place Craig's signature on the signature line. I always like to put a date there, so again, just shows exactly when he signed. And then you can CC escrow, and it will go directly to them. Another quick tip: if it's me, I don't send it to my clients. They don't have to be reminded how much you're making.
Never given a
Yeah,
question.
I've had that question a lot recently. There's no point in sending it to your clients. They already signed the 1A. They're good. They're going to see.
It's a negative.
It's just a reminder. It's like, oh, by the way, remember you're paying me. They don't need to see that, right? If they ask, obviously tell them. but they know what they're doing, right? They know what they're paying. You just don't need to remind them. And you also don't need to send this to the other firm, the other broker, anything like that. You just need to send this to escrow. It's between escrow and your brokerage. And that is it on the Form 40. And again, this is being sent to admin to sign, but because this is a transactional document, you also want it to be CC'd to docs. So sorry for the confusion on that, but docs is the most important thing. If you remember anything from this, just remember you always have to send things to docs. If you just want to get something signed or some correspondence to us, it's admins. Okay, that is it on Form 40s. I just wanted to really briefly talk about SkySlope. We are constantly finding little things that when we set up SkySlope, oh, we missed this, and that's just the learning curve because SkySlope is new for us too, right? We all started in November. I just want to remind people, even if you're just mistaken, if you think something could possibly be a mistake, we're only going to get better if we hear your critique or input. So just let us know if you're like, hey, this is really confusing. Either explain how this works, or I think you're wrong here. We got to get this corrected. I really appreciate that feedback. So just want to say that. And then just a few more things. We wanted to start doing a middle of the month get together. We're going to start the third Wednesday of every month. Totally optional. You can bring your significant other. But we're just going to go out somewhere, get happy hour somewhere, and just kind of hang out, talk a little bit about the business. Just kind of collaborate, network. Totally optional, but we're going to start this Wednesday, or I'm sorry, what would it be? It's going to be the 20th. Will be our first one, and we're just going to call it the Thirsty Third Wednesday of the month, and it'll be the 20th. This month, and I'll send calendar invites to everybody. Everybody is invited, but yeah, bring your friends or family if you'd like.
Drunk in the middle of the week, is that?
No, not getting drunk. We're just kind of networking, right? You can also bring clients if you'd like. If you have an agent who you're trying to recruit and get 4 months free technology fee, you can invite them to come, meet us there. It's just a good way to kind of network and talk with each other and, talk about what's working. Again, totally optional, but we're going to start doing this. I'll send more details coming up, but I just want to let everybody know that's going to be on the 20th. And then lastly, I just want to talk about Sync. I'm hearing, good feedback from a lot of people that they're working with buyers and no sellers yet, but they're working with buyers. Nothing in contract yet. But I wanted to just kind of open up the floor. If anybody has specific things that they're struggling with lead conversion or with using the CRM, let me know, and I can set up another class with the Sync training agent, and we can talk about it. So feel free to email me, text me, whatever. Let me know if you're struggling with something. Let's talk about it. Let's get it out in the open and collaborate and see how we can, convert these. So that is about it. I'm going to send you guys a buyer's checklist and a buyer's agent checklist and seller's agent checklist, start to finish for those transactions. We're going to talk about home warranties coming up. And next week we are going to be talking about List Hub. That's a tool that we have on Dashboard and how we can utilize that for listings. And then postcards. Want to talk about how we use CoreFact. Craig uses CoreFact. When he gets a listing, he sends out 50 to 100 postcards to homes nearby saying, hey, I just listed your neighbor's home. And then he sends it out when it sells. So I'm going to be talking about that in the next meeting, how affordable it is and how I really suggest you do that when you have a listing, because it's just a great way to put yourself in a market as the listing agent. You have credibility.
Somebody else hired.
Yeah, exactly. You're saying I know what I'm talking about, obviously, because I have a listing here, and it's really inexpensive. I mean, it's not free, but Fidelity can give you a list for a few bucks. I literally like $3, and it's normally like 80 cents for a postcard. So even if you send it out to 100 people, that's 80 bucks out of your $9,000 commission, right? It's not a lot of money. Yeah. So if you have any ideas for future office meetings, let us know. Obviously, that's the only way we're all going to learn is if we hear about what you're struggling with, what you want to learn more about, and then we can talk about it. So thanks for coming, guys.
Sure, thank you.